Okay, so welcome to this episode of Teach It Tuesday. I am Denisha from Images of Ink, and we are going to be doing the trending pop out method today. So I got a few images that were sent to me from a few people that I'm going to use today. I have one of my son, and then I also have one that I pulled offline. Um, Anybody that's been following along with the track and field world, the world championships are going on, and there was an American record that was broken. So we're going to do a little something with that. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing that I've already done with my images is I've already removed the background. So if you don't know, you can use either Photoshop, Canva, or whatever background remover that you are comfortable with. For these, I just use Remove BG, but I did use the paid version because I wanted a crisp quality image. And so I didn't want to degrade that and use the free version just so you guys can see it nice, clean, and crisp. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we are going to pull in some text, and let's go ahead and change this to freshman font just because we want something nice and bold. All right, and we're going to turn it that color. And then let me go ahead and pull in my image. So I'm going to go over here on my left panel and I'm going to hit the place tool because I want to pull it in. So let's go ahead and find our download. Hey, and let's see which image it is. Not that one. This one here. All right. So here's that image. Okay. So naturally, the easiest thing would be we could just set this right here on top, kind of make it look like a pop out. But honestly, it's just literally sitting on top. Let me make this gray just so it's a little bit more contrast. All right. And I'm going to change my artboard size just because I want it to be a little bigger. So I'm going to go, oh, let's make this 20 by 20. Okay. And I'm going to grab both of these. Let me make my H 18 inches tall. We'll do 16. 15 is good. All right. Because this is something I can use like if I wanted to do a, like, everybody does like the fat heads. But instead of doing an actual fat head, you can do a custom letter. All right, so we're going to drop that right there. One second, I lost my panel. Where did it go? All right, so over here in the layers panel, I'm just going to take this image, and if I were to just drop it inside of the letter A or clip it inside, it's just going to clip it right there. So anything that's hanging outside of the letter is going to be just that. It's going to be gone because you can no longer see it because the letter does not exist there. So there are several ways that you can do this in Affinity. Affinity Designer is basically the equivalent to Adobe Illustrator. The one thing that I love about Affinity Designer is that they also give you a pixel panel which emulates Photoshop. So you can take raster images and vector images and work within the same platform and do a lot of things that you would have to do either one in Photoshop and then incorporate it into Illustrator and vice versa. So I'm going to take this image. Let me pull it back to the top. Let's right click, duplicate it. So now we have two copies of it. And we're going to take one of them, drop it inside of the letter. So when I turn this top one off, you can see that one is dropped inside. But again, we want to make it look like he's running out of the H. So right now he's just sitting on top. So the one thing that you could do is you can crop this top one. So grab the top one. We're going to grab our vector crop tool, and then we're just going to cut off the back. So you see how now it looks like part of his body is inside the H and the other part is popping out of the H. Okay. And the reason we're able to do that is because we duplicated that first image right on top of the other one. We didn't move anything. Everything stayed the same, but we were able to hide. So honestly, this is really only half of his body because we cropped off the back. And now it looks like he's running out of the H because the back half is inside and the front half is out. Now you could make sure if you want to move this around and get a better placement, you need to grab both of them and then you can move them together. So if we want it to look like he's popping out here in the middle of the H, okay. And then there you go. So now it looks like he's popping out the middle of the H. Now someone might say like, oh, maybe you should leave his hand on top. So I can go back to my crop and adjust it. But you can see here, I haven't gotten all of his hand, but if I keep going, his leg's going to start to show. And I don't want that. So there's something else that I can do. So let me put this one back to where it was. I'm going to grab this, right click. I'm going to duplicate it again. Okay. So for the first one, I cropped it so that way this leg can hang out. For the second one, I'm going to crop it again. And I want the arm to hang out, but I don't want this back leg to hang out. So now I'm going to crop this one up. Okay. So now I get that full effect that I wanted, but there's 3 layers. So if I turn this one off, that crop goes away. If I turn this one off, the leg crop goes away. And then if I turn both of them off, he's clipped inside of the letter altogether. Okay, does that make sense, guys?
You should turn on your screen.
Oh, but it's not gonna let me share to that screen.
Why?
Because I can't share 2 screens while I'm on this live. I already set it to be this screen, so I would have to stop it and start over to reshare a new screen.
Oh, even if
because
you
I'm on
said,
TikTok.
oh, even if you said, please, you can't share it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to turn these back on, but when I go from Zoom, that'll be nice. Now, again, if I want to move it, I need to grab all of them and I can set it to here. But then look here, you see, since I moved it, now my crops need to be adjusted again. So if I move this one, you can see part of his thigh is sticking out there. So I need to adjust this crop. All I need to do for this one is just bring it over a little more. There we go. And then you see I turned off the top crop, so his arm went back inside the H. If I turn it back on, it comes back on top of the H. Okay. Now what you do with the letter, you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to add a background to it, that's not really what we're going to cover today, but you can, add some more effects to it. Okay. All right, and there we go. There's number one. So if I wanted to do this, this could be my number one. I can add his name. Shrink this down a little bit. Whoops. 1 second, y'all. Oh, okay. So we can do that. Let's add an outline. And again, if you don't want this to be in front of his leg, then you just have to adjust it in your layers panel. So I would just drop this down below this image. Oops. And then there you go. Okay. So that is number one. Are you doing this in Canva? No, we are an Affinity designer. And yes, thank you, Gabby. All right, artboard number two. 1 second, y'all. Let me get the second artboard set up. Can y'all hear me? All right, so here we go. Let's go grab a new artboard. And then this one, I had a group member from Facebook sent this one to me. Wait, can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. All right. So this one, she didn't, let me grab the image first because I don't remember if she gave me a number or not. I don't know if he's wearing a jersey. Let me see. Let's make this 18. Oh yeah, number 8. Okay, so we're gonna grab this one and we're just gonna put him out of the number 8. This one is actually gonna be really simple because it is literally, we're just gonna have him popping out of the top. This is probably the easiest pop out that you can do. Um, let's change the color of this to red. Let's drop it behind. Okay, so naturally we can just pop him right here with him popping out of the top. But of course, this right here is just sitting on the top. So to make it appear like he's popping out, we're going to make him larger right there. And then we're just going to drop him into the 8. Okay. But remember, because we dropped this one inside, we need to make a copy. So Control J is the shortcut to duplicate. Put this one on top. The other way you could have just cropped right here. Crop it until you hit the bottom of the 8. So actually, I didn't even need to drop the first one inside. I could have just cropped it until it hit the bottom of the 8 right there. So that's all I did is I just cropped it. But now it looks like he's standing inside of the 8 and then the ball and the rest of his body is coming out. So that's a simple crop when there's not too much going on or you're not trying to intertwine between a lot of different things. So that's a simple one. This third one, I'm going to make this one actually long because I want to do text. Okay. Okay. Anybody know what the 4829 stands for? I kind of gave a hint earlier if you were in the live from the beginning, but some people may have some reference. All right. So now let me pull in some images really quick. A few that I have. Again, I've already downloaded these and removed the backgrounds. So I'm going to grab that one, that one. Oh, I was actually going to do two with this, but okay. Let's grab all of these for now. And let's place them in here. Okay, boom. Okay, number one, I know this one is going in the front because baby, when I tell you she ran away with that 48.29, like it was a walk in the park, that's what she did. So this is Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. She is a professional track and field athlete, and she just broke the U.S. 400-meter open record, which was held for 19 years by Sonia Richards-Ross. So that's the sports geek in me. But yeah, so baby, when I tell you she ran away with this 48.29, so we're going to drop this one here. I was actually going to do something else with this image, so I still might. And then this one back here actually has two images inside of it. But the reason I liked, let me hide this one because I'm going to do something else with that one. The reason I like this one is because she's running forward. So that way you can kind of see her. I'm going to try to show you how to show her coming out of the page, if that makes sense. So I'm actually going to duplicate this because I want to do two of them. So I'm going to crop this one down to just this image for now. And then grab this one and crop it down. Because when I did the remove, I just removed them together as one image. So that's the only reason I had to duplicate it like that. Okay, and naturally, since she's going this way, she's about to run out of this 9. And then here, I got to decide what I want to do with her here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and duplicate this one. I'm going to drop this first one in the middle into there. So as you can see, she's clipped into it. And then you have to decide which parts do you want to pop out. So because I want to make it look like she's kind of hopping out of it, let me grab, where'd my second one go? And let me move it down just a little. All right. So now with the top one, again, here it is with the top one hidden. So there she is. With the top one hidden, I am going to crop. Oops, not that way. Let's crop this way. Okay, so you see how I started cropping this way, but now it's cutting off some of her body there. Okay, which we don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead and let's do our other method. So let me undo that. Right now we are in the designer persona. So if you're at the top left corner, you see designer persona, you see pixel persona. So we're gonna switch over to pixel. And now I'm going to use my brush tool or my eraser tool to get rid of that section. So I selected my brush tool One thing you need to make sure, if you're in Affinity 1.0, is that you rasterize this layer. If you don't, um, it's the eraser tool is not going to work. So for Affinity 2, once I grab this, it's going to do an auto assistant and say, hey, you're trying to do a raster effect on a non-pixel layer. So it's going to tell me like, see, there's the assistant. Whoops, not that one. It's going to tell me that I need to mask it. So let me just go ahead and rasterize that. I got my layer selected. My brush is way too big. I can't even see my brush. Let's make it a 10. Zoom out. Okay. So let's make this brush a 5. And let's get up in here, increase our brush size. You can do that up here by sliding here or hitting the bracket on your keyboard. And now I'm just going to erase the part that I don't want, which is her foot hanging out here. If I erase more, it's okay because I have that back layer back there, but that allows me to only erase the sections that I want to erase. So now it looks like she's running out of the 2. Yes, it's going to go on YT. You can, but that wouldn't be the one that I would use. Yeah. All right. And again, my layers moved over here. If I want to adjust where she is, I can grab both layers and kind of slide her over, slide her down. But you see, if I slide her down more, that means I need to go back and erase more. But we're gonna put her like right there. Boom, there we go. Okay. And then the same thing here. We can drop her. Oh, let me go back to, I'm going to go back to the designer mode, designer persona. Let's drop this inside of our text. So we're going to clip it inside. Let me make a copy of it. So let's duplicate it. And then you have to decide, what do you want to stick out? So I'm going to bring this back up top. Let's crop it. And for this one, I want the front to stick out like that. And I'm actually going to grab both of these. And I just want to slide it over just a little bit because I do want her back foot to be a little into the 2 just so you can kind of see it like that. Thank you. And then let's go do the same for the front. And again, using the crop versus the pixel eraser brush, you still can get the same effect. It just depends on what you need to erase. For me, if I can use the crop, I'm going to use crop because it's so much easier. Well, I won't say it's easier. It's just quicker. And I don't have to do all the converting and everything like that. But if my crop is not following in the way that I want, like earlier, it was cutting off part of her face as well as the leg because everything was so close. That's the reason I had to switch and use the other method. So it's good to know both. And then you just use the one that works for what you needed to do. So this one here, let's move her. Where do I want her to be? Okay, let's go here just because there's a couple things you can do here. So let me duplicate, Control J. If you're on a Mac, Command J. Let's drop one down into the text. So this is what it looks like right now, which if you're trying to do a clipping mask, this is a good design that you can use. So let's do this. Let's crop it. So one, we can come from the back. Oh, undo that. Okay, so you see that I cropped this one here and it's like, oh, the leg is still sticking out. The reason is if you look over here, I cropped the one that's inside of the layers pant that I clipped inside. So I didn't have the correct one selected. So let me grab this one and then crop it. Okay. So if I stop this right there, boom. So not only is she going on top of the 4, but she's coming out of the 8. So here you can see there's a little, let me grab my text. That's because there's an outline. There's a fill text, but you can't see it because it's white. So I'm gonna just take the fill text off. Or sorry, the stroke. So let me grab this one, adjust my crop because right there you see there's a disconnect. So I went a little too far. Let me bring it back. Boom, that's enough. So basically where your two images overlap, you want to make sure that you don't create a gap. If I were to keep going with this crop, like you can see the disconnect that would be there. So we can go there and then let's just say you didn't want the hair sticking out for whatever reason. You were like, put the hair inside of the 4. You can crop this one going down and you can have the hair inside of the 4. Now, to me, that looks funny, so I wouldn't complete a design like this. But again, the way that you do this is all personal preference. So I'm actually going to put this back. Okay, over here with this one, I want to see what this one looks like if her shoulder was coming on top of the 9. So I'm going to adjust this crop. Actually, I'm going to duplicate it. Duplicate this and then bring this crop back. But I don't want the leg. So originally that leg was out. I don't want the leg to be above. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, so now you see how her top is out of the 9, but her leg is still within the 9. Again, it's just personal preference. If you would prefer to have, whoops, let me grab the crop. If you prefer to have the leg out and keep the arm in, you can do it that way. So you see how you can get the different looks? It's just depending on what you are trying to achieve. Any questions? And then we have that other, um, let me just add this real quick, y'all. Hold on. Because when I tell y'all the girl is a goat, let me do this. Wait. Change this. This is not even supposed to be a part of the classroom. I'm just adding extras up in here because why not? Not that font. I'll probably do something else with it later to actually make it a full design, but it looks good. I just came in a few moments ago. No, this is Affinity Designer. The the number font is freshman. I don't have a clue how to use Silhouette. Yeah, no, this one is Affinity. Yeah, Affinity Designer. Okay, our last one, y'all. Um, Let me grab, where's the image? I turned it off. I had a clue of what I wanted to do with this one, but I can't remember what it was. Let's go ahead and put some text. And again, you can use different fonts. You don't have to use the same font every time. She is tough. Mm, I'm thinking on the fly, y'all. Okay, I know what I wanted to do. I needed to hide. So this was one of the reasons I wanted to use this photo after I removed the background because you can see here. So basically, this was an image. She was standing at the start, getting ready to get in her blocks. So this little yellow piece, she was standing behind her blocks. So one way that you can hide that is with this method. So let's do this. Um, Let me grab my text a little bit, make it a little wider, slide her over. Okay, so let me make a copy. We're going to drop her inside of the text. So number one, we just dropped her right inside. There we go. Now I have to decide how do I want to crop this to fit in here. So first thing I'm going to do is grab my crop tool. The easiest one would be to just crop it in half. Of course, you see for me to get the leg to hide in there, it's cutting off part of her shoulder, which is awkward. So I don't cut off her face, but now she's missing part of her shoulder. So we can do a couple of things. We can make multiple copies and crop them separate, or because I can bring this over, but you see how her leg is partially out in order for me to get the shoulder. So this will be an instance where I need to do the erase tool. So first thing I'm going to do is right click, rasterize. For me, I made my shortcut to be R. Then I'm going to go to the pixel layer, and now I can pick and choose what pieces I want to erase. Okay, so let me grab my eraser, and I'm just going to start erasing the pieces that I don't want. Because I already hit rasterize, I'm going to make my brush a little bigger. Okay, and actually, let me go back because when I adjusted something, I did have her arm sticking out. So let me grab both layers, make her larger. Oops. Like so. And then let me go back to this layer, grab my eraser. And so I can do, you could erase here, that arm can be in, or you can continue to erase here and make this whole side of her body kind of be in. We can grab both layers, bring her down some. like that. And then let me clean up my erase because now I need to take off more there, more here to kind of still be able to see that that's an M back there, but that she's kind of stepping out of it. So I'm going to move her over just a little bit more. Um, there. Okay, kind of looks weird. I think I liked it better when she was in the middle. The other thing with the erasing method is literally once you erase it, the only way to kind of go back, it does create kind of like a clipping mask, or sorry, a mask layer, but you would just have to duplicate the image and start over with what you wanted to erase and not. Uh, Let me go back and read the comments. I need to learn the software. Yeah, with any software, whether it's Affinity, Photoshop, Illustrator, Silhouette, Cricut, Design Space, Canva, all of them are going to have a learning curve. So for some people, they'll say, oh, this one is easier than that one. And it's just because they're more comfortable. Like for me, I'm more comfortable in Affinity than I am in Photoshop. I can do things in Photoshop, but I can do a lot more, a lot easier in Affinity because I use it more often. And all of them are going to have a learning curve. I feel like I'm a great designer in Affinity. I can go do some things in Silhouette, but I may struggle with some stuff because I don't use it regularly. So with any software, you just got to practice with it. Can you make her go into all three letters with the last design? So, okay, let me delete this. So you want this image to go across all three letters? Is that what you're saying, K3? Can she be between the S and the M? So like here? I think she was saying she wanted her to be in all three letters. Hey, chef. So like this, and then kind of make her pop out. Let me see. Let's see. So if I drop this in, this is kind of what we get for right now. And then we have to decide what do we want to erase. Okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna duplicate this really quick. And then right click, rasterize that. Okay, let me grab my eraser. So we know for sure that we're getting rid of, he was asking about how to design. Oh, right. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this side. Let this side go in. And then, so I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna change the opacity. Oh, wait, no, not that one. Just kidding. Okay, so let me edit, redo that. And let's change the opacity just so I can kind of see where the letters are behind there. All right, so let's go back to our erase tool so we can erase here. We can erase this. I don't know if I want to, let's see, where else? Come across here. I can get rid of all of this body. I could have cropped this, but it is what it is. Okay, let me bring back the color so I can see what we have so far. I'm going to make this, since this arm is already going inside the letter, I'm going to make this arm go inside. So let me grab my erase tool back. Let me bring the size down a little bit. So now I'm just going in here. Oh, not that part. Oops. Erasing. We got to bring her down a little bit. So grab this one, grab that one, bring her down. And now I can erase here. All right, let me go back and look to see what that looks like. Okay, I need to get into the M. And this is where, like, with this, you gotta, and then the other part of the M here. And then we move this down, so I'm going to clean this up on the edge. Okay, so she's partly in there, partly not. Now, you can do one of two things. She said I duplicated her 4 times. No, that's fine. And that's what I'm saying. You got to kind of do like a trial and error on what you think looks good. Um, uh, See if I wanted to. I'm going to just see how it looks if I want to really highlight this M here. But I think this is going to make it look weird. So I may just have to put that back. Yeah. So it kind of looked like it took a chunk out of her neck. So I don't like that. I prefer it to stay like that. And so it's a little hard to see what letter is behind her, but you know. And then of course down here, all of this I didn't crop it, but I could just crop all that out. I didn't erase it earlier. But there you go. So again, it's just kind of figuring out what looks okay to remove and what doesn't. Every design is not going to work for this. Like I know a lot of people are going to try to use this for everything and it's not going to work for every design. Every image is not going to work great. So you just got to kind of figure out what's going to work best for the images that you do have. Thank you, Star. But like, yeah, this one here, I feel like, let me bring her down a little bit more. Because I need y'all to know, like, she is coming up out of this world record, okay? We running up out of there. I mean, even with this, like, you could, so let me duplicate this one. So if I want this to come here, like, it's a lot that you can do to make it look like she going in, going out. Like, you just got to play with it. And it's going to be based on the text that you're using. So whatever you're trying to place it into, whether it's text, an image, or and not or and the images that you have to place inside. Yeah, right, Gabby. That's what I was going to text you. But I knew if I text you when you sent it, you weren't going to get it. But the one, so she had sent me a cheer image. The one with the pyramid would have been good if I would have had the girl at the top of the pyramid showing, because then she could have popped out of the letters or the words, and then the base would have been inside. Right. But I knew once you saw what I was doing in the live, you exactly, you picked it up right away and you could tell like every image won't work and that's fine. Let me see. What did I do with this one? I feel like I would rather her arm be out and her leg be gone. No. What did I do on this one? I don't even remember. There's that. Okay, where's this layer? I clearly have a second one. There it is. Nope, that's the same one. Oh, that's because I'm cropping the wrong one. Hello.
Congratulations on completing this goal.
Thank you. Oh, I have too many artboards. That's why. That belongs here. All right. Any other questions? So again, a simple one, just drop it on top, crop it till it's at the bottom of the text, This one here, drop it inside, use the crop tool. So even here, like I could grab these layers and actually bring him down a little more. To really make it look like he's popping out of there. And you can use these designs for a lot of different things. You can make them for t-shirts. You can do them for, if you check my page, I have what I call spirit biggies, similar to fat heads, but instead of just doing the head, I like to do the letter. So they're like a spirit letter. Um, you can make props for if you're going to do like a football party, a send-off party, anything like that. How can you save it one by one when it's with the artboard? Okay, so to save it, if I just want to save this one, I'll go to File, Export, and in the area, let me shrink it down. I can just select Artboard 1. Or if I only want to do Artboard 2, I can only save Artboard 2. Yeah, and again too, if I want to do a PNG so that way there's no background, I just change my file type. Let me sure. I'm gonna do this to 1000. And then you can just select whatever artboard you're working with or whichever one you want to save. Um, you can also do the whole document if you want to save everything. I don't know why you want to save it like this, but you could. Like if I have my artboard set up, I can't say that. I have saved a whole document with artboards if I had them set up the way that I wanted them to be set up. The other way is to do your export panel. So remember you have designer persona, you have pixel persona, you also have export persona. So here, this separates it into the different artboards. So let's say I want to save it as PNG. I can go over here and say only do artboard 1 and 2. Those are the only two. So I'm going to export these two slices and it's just going to do those two. That way you don't have to do, or if you want to do multiple, but you don't want to do them one at a time, you can select multiple here, or you can select a single. This one is really good, especially like when I do my banners for teams and I have 27, I usually work on a different artboard. So if I have 27 different layers, I can pick and choose which ones, or I can say save them all as individual files versus over here, I would have to go save artboard 1, save artboard 2. I'd have to do it one at a time. Yeah, the export panel is the export persona is amazing, especially when you have a bulk set of items to save. So I can show you like, let me see, do I have one open here? And you don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be artboards. Let me see, I think this is one. So these I didn't even do on artboards. I basically made them each a different layer. So all of their elements are within each layer, but they're all grouped together as their own. So each of these are individual. I can go to the export persona and it's going to basically create those separate ones for me. So here, all of them. The other great thing, like let's say you want to save, I need to save a JPEG so I can share it to the customer because I need the white background to show up on there, but I need to save it as a PNG for my print file. You can save multiple. So I can go in to my slices and say, okay, I want one JPEG for this one. I also want to save one PNG and I want to save it as a PDF. So I'm going to go in and change this one and do one PDF. Okay. So now I'm saving this same design 3 different ways. It's going to save me a JPEG version, it's going to save me a PNG version, and it's going to save me a PDF version. So instead of technically having 7 slices, because there were 7 layers, you would get 3 of each. Now, if you wanted to do that for all of them, you could, of course, apply that to all of them, but I only did it for that one. Right. Yep. Any other questions? You are so welcome. All right, Ken folks, that's all I got for y'all. So y'all ready to go do y'all pop out homework? I'm telling you, the crop method is the easiest um, if it's applicable. That's always going to be my default. But if I have to, I will bust out those eraser brushes in the pixel panel. Just remember that you need to rasterize your layer to apply those brushes. How do you know if it's rasterized? Um, if you look over here on your image, one, it'll say pixel, but when you hover over it, it'll either tell you that it's a pixel or that it's an image. Okay, if it's an image, then that's not a raster layer. It's going to tell you image here, or that one has like, it looks like a little checkerboard. It says pixel. That's how you know you rasterized it. All right, so that's all I have for y'all tonight. That's Teacher Tuesday. I'm going to get this video downloaded, do a couple of edits or trims, so that way it can go on the YT, and it's going to be the next episode for Teacher Tuesday. So if there are no other questions, I appreciate y'all hanging with me. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. I appreciate all the likes, the taps, the shares, the comments, the questions. And as always, y'all be epic.